Lee Nami, a young and ambitious woman working in marketing, is going about her daily routine. She's seen commuting, checking her smartphone, and engaging in casual interactions, establishing her as a relatable, modern character who relies heavily on her phone. One afternoon, Lee Nami, nearly drifting off to sleep on a bus, barely notices her stop approaching. In her rush to exit, she accidentally leaves her smartphone behind, which is soon picked up by a stranger. This stranger, a young man, retrieves the phone and takes it home. While preparing dinner, he receives a call on Nami's phone from her friend, Yoonju. Using a voice-altering app to disguise himself, he answers the call, pretending to be a woman who claims to have found the phone on the bus. Yoonju, unaware of the deception, asks this woman to hold onto the phone until she can confirm with Nami. Yoonju later visits Nami's house, playfully teasing her friend as she frantically searches for the missing phone. Once she's had her fun, Yoonju reveals the call she received and lets Nami speak to the supposed person. They both believe they are talking to a woman, who agrees to leave the phone at Cafe Mizi for retrieval. However, as notifications continue to pop up on Nami's phone, the man delves deeper into her personal life. With so much of her life documented online, he quickly gathers extensive information about her and her interests. Frustrated by his inability to crack the phone's password, he eventually snaps and shatters the screen in anger. We then see a crime scene. A body, previously buried on a mountain, is unearthed by heavy rainfall. The police, including detectives Woo Ji-man and Kim Jung-ho, arrive at the scene to begin their investigation. As they survey the area, their conversation reveals a troubling suspicion. They both suspect that Ji-man's son might be involved. The location where the body was found is significant. It's the same spot where Ji-man and his son had once planted a tree together. Evidence points toward his son, as plant food products, which his son frequently used, were found scattered near the body. It's almost as if someone intentionally left clues behind. Ji-man is torn, recalling how his son left home 7 years ago but never changed his address. Jung-ho asks whether there's any chance his son might still be in contact with his mother. Ji-man responds that his son left when his mother was ill and never returned, making it unlikely, but he agrees to check for the sake of the investigation. Meanwhile, Nami is at her father's cafe, where she works part-time, when she receives a call from Jun-young, the man who took her phone, still posing as a woman. He informs her that her phone's screen is broken, but he has already taken it to a repair shop and covered the cost. The caller simply tells her to pick up the phone. Nami heads to the repair shop at the address Jun-young provided. After navigating a long, eerie hallway, she finds the room and spots her phone on a table. A masked man appears, handing her papers to sign and asking for her password. Unbeknownst to her, this shop belongs to Jun Yeong, who uses the password to install spyware on her phone, effectively cloning it under the guise of repairing the broken screen. Nami, unaware of the danger, thanks him, retrieves her phone, and leaves, while Jun-young begins monitoring her every move. Later that evening, Jun-young visits Nami's father's cafe, specifically requesting a drink called plumade, which her father usually makes only for her. He insists he used to order it regularly, so Nami prepares it for him. Seong-woo, a co-worker, notices the interaction and questions why she served a drink not on the menu. Nami explains that Jun-yeong is a regular, though Seong-woo struggles to recall him. After saying goodbye to her father, Nami heads home. Meanwhile, Ji-man checks his wife's phone and discovers she has been in contact with their son, who has been constantly moving around. She recently sent him supplies, leading Ji-man to find an address that might belong to Jun-young. Back at her apartment, Jun-young spends the night digging through Nami's phone, compiling a detailed dossier on her daily routine, interests, and personal connections. He even discovers a secret Instagram account where Nami vents about her boss and adds her photo to his collection of previous victims. At work, Nami's boss rewards her with a pay raise for securing a significant deal, asking her to keep it confidential. Meanwhile, Ji-man confronts his wife about Jun-yeong, but she denies knowing his whereabouts. Just as they speak, Ji-man receives a text with an address. Elsewhere, Jun-young sneaks into Nami's apartment while she's out, searching through her belongings. Ji-man, continuing his investigation, meets with Jung-ho, who reveals that Jun-young has been changing addresses frequently, stopped using his phone, and was involved in a fraud case in 2019. Ji-man eventually tracks down Jun-young's current residence, uncovering detailed notes on 8 women, with Nami listed as the next target. He realizes the body found on the mountain was the most recent victim, documented similarly to how Jun Yeong has been monitoring Nami. As Ji-man continues his search, he receives a chilling text with a photo of himself inside the house, prompting him to flee. Jun-yeong heads to Seung-woo's cafe, presenting himself as a digital security agent with a new ID. He orders plumade again, further raising Seung-woo's suspicions. Jun-yeong, aware that Nami has some CDs she wants to sell, contacts her under the pretense of buying them, and also offers her tickets to a match. He gives her his card in case there are any issues with the tickets. Later, as Seung-woo drives Nami home, he warns her to be cautious around Jun-yeong, expressing his unease and calling him a weirdo. He mentions that despite Jun-yeong claiming to be a regular, he has never seen him before, and remembers all of his usual customers. However, Nami dismisses his concerns. Unbeknownst to them, Jun-yeong is listening in on their entire conversation. Seung-woo received a text from Nami, apologizing for their earlier conversation. She then sent him a link, explaining that it was a phone tracking program in case she lost her phone again, urging him to install it. Seung-woo complied. G-Man, continuing his investigation, visited the mother of Jun-yeong's last known victim. From their conversation, he learned that Jun-yeong's method of targeting women followed a disturbing pattern. First, he would damage their phone, then gain access to their password, clone the device, and gradually infiltrate their lives. After eliminating his victim, he would take over their home. Jun-yeong then sent a deceptive text to Seung-woo, claiming he had a package for him. When Seung-woo stepped outside, Jun-yeong ambushed him, taking him captive in his own home. Meanwhile, heavy rain fell on the mountain, revealing the remains of 7 previously buried bodies. The next morning, Nami awoke to a barrage of missed calls and texts. Panicking, she rushed to get a cab, and upon checking her phone, discovered several posts made in her name, boasting about her recent raise and insulting her colleagues. When she finally arrived at work, she was met with angry stares, including from her boss. Furious that she had cost the company significant business, her boss publicly reprimanded her and ultimately fired her on the spot. Devastated, Nami went with her friend Yoon-ju to report the incident to the cybercrime unit. However, they were told that without concrete proof of a hack, there wasn't much that could be done. While Seung-woo remained meticulously documented every detail of the real Jun-Young's life and used this information to frame him as a murderer. Ji-man is devastated as he looks at the killer's phone, seeing the last photo of his real son before he was murdered. The killer taunts Ji-man, revealing that he has been impersonating Jun-Young, even communicating with Ji-man's wife as if he were her son. Overcome with grief and rage, Ji-man is unable to pull the trigger, but Nami, having retrieved Jung-ho's gun, steps in and shoots the killer, ending the nightmare. The police quickly take control of the scene, confiscating all evidence, and uncovering the killer's method of using the internet to stalk and trap his victims. Nami, having endured severe trauma, is taken to the hospital. Eventually, Nami returns to her life, reconnecting with her father and making amends with Unju, as they all attempt to move forward from the horrors they've experienced.